XRP for all the money. Hope you guys are having a blessed weekend. It is Saturday, August 5th, 2023. And right now we are watching this cryptocurrency market moving sideways. Bitcoin at about 29,000. XRP is down to 62 cents, just below 63 cents for XRP, and an 1833 Ethereum. We take a look at the sticks for Bitcoin, moving here sideways into the 29,000 range. You recall just last week here, we went down to 28.5, okay? And then we did recover back on up to about 30,000, but now we are back down to 29,000, chopping sideways and waiting for a new week to begin. Watching this thing closely. Many people in the community getting frustrated with the price action for XRP. Now XDC's back down. And we have to remember that we are in a bear market, we are in a recession, but I wanted to make this video here to remind everybody what Ripple set their eyes on, what their targets were when they were working on XRP, when they worked with the Interledger protocol. We're going to get into it in today's update, and we're going to remind everyone what's taking place and what the target, what the goal has been this whole time for Ripple and XRP, truly being prepared for all the money. We don't have to get all the money. We want to be prepared for all the money. We make our systems scalable to all the money. And then when we just get a little sliver of that action, we go somewhere fun. So let's break down, and let's start off here with a little negativity from Hugo Filion. He is the co-founder of Flare Networks. And he says, I have always assumed that XRP would sell off hard after the case ended. This is because the primary, but not only use case for XRP is and always has been cross-border transactions, and the primary force behind developing this market is still Ripple. Now here later, I'm going to show you guys how Ripple is part of a new derivatives association. Well, they're new to the group. The group's been around for a while, but one of the largest derivatives trade organizations in the world, Ripple has just joined. And we know that cross-border payments was just a testing ground. I figured that Hugo would have understood this, that we were just testing out, building out scale, building out liquidity with cross-border payments, but we definitely had our eyes on derivatives down the road as well. And then obviously, Ripple is the primary force behind the development, but we have many developers that are now getting on board. And now that we have clarity, you're going to see more money, more institutions backing developers who are building on the XRP ledger. Unfortunate to see the negativity from Hugo Filion, especially when his project's been so disappointing. Since late 2020, Ripple have been meaningfully prevented in their ability to develop this market due to regulatory uncertainty. Well, that's from your perspective, Hugo. You're not at the meetings, the dozens of meetings that are taking place with central banks and governments around the world. So really speaking out of place here, Hugo. Now Ripple have some clarity, but they are 2.5 years delayed in their work. Once again, from your perspective, you have no idea what contracts and deals have been done. In the meantime, stablecoin providers have presented a viable, if high friction alternative, and have been fairly successful in building out this market. I suspect Ripple will generate some success going forward in cross-border payments, especially in corridors that are traditionally underserved by TradeFi. Progress is likely to be slow, however, due to the increased suspicion in TradeFi of crypto after SBF and all the other nonsense. On the flip side, there are plenty of people working to develop new use cases for XRP and the XRP ledger, but these will take time to bear fruit. Once again, Hugo, thank you for sharing your opinion. I think that we have some development to do with Flare as well, as someone in the community. It's been pretty disappointing so far. So, it's kind of disappointment across the board, at least with XRP and for tokens that have a similar set of circumstances or facts surrounding it. We now know that tokens like XRP in and of themselves are not going to be securities. So I'm excited to see where we are going forward. And it's funny to me how everybody's coming out of the woodwork to comment about they knew this sell-off was coming. They knew this sell-off was coming. They knew, they had their targets set for these price ranges. And I didn't think that we were going to hit $1 anyways. All these guys come out after the fact. What value does that provide, coming out after the fact and saying, oh, I knew that it wasn't going to pump. This is what I expected. Sure you did. Now, I've been on the record for 2.5 years saying that I do expect XRP to make a move that melts faces and then come back down. I think this was a glimpse of what's coming. Does it mean that we're not going to go back down to 60, 50 cents? Yeah, sure, fine. That's a short-term move. The macro picture here, the macro move, the macro trend that we've already started takes us somewhere fun. And I don't think that anybody's going to be disappointed with those prices, but they are going to be disappointed when we go up to those prices and then we do come back down. But I've been on the record for 2.5 years saying that, putting out my targets. And then every Joe Blow's coming out of the woodworks now saying, oh, I knew it wasn't going to hit $1. And now Hugo too. It's just funny. But what we're waiting on is for all of the regulations to pass and for this reset to be completed. The systems are burning down around us, a banking crisis underway. But then once we get the regulations, we can start moving forward in a rapid succession that you're about to start to see for digital assets. Anthony Welfare highlights this interview that he did a while back here with Joel Katz, that'd be David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, where they talk about interoperability. That's the most exciting to me. Seeing the CBDC systems being interoperable just because international payments are so expensive and the experiences are so bad. With the people most harmed by the current system are the poor people. And the CBDC systems are going live. We just had the interview with Jay Anson from Plow, talking about the Plow US dollar-backed stablecoin on the XRP ledger. Love to see it. We actually, I retweeted out Jay. He's out with his partners from Ripple are there in Plow with him, and they're out jumping between the islands. They're island hopping and rolling out the new financial system. And I was just thinking to myself, what a career, what a job to have, right? You know, beautiful paradise down there in Palau, and they're working closely with Ripple to roll out their US dollar-backed stablecoin on the XRP ledger. You love to see it. But interoperability between the CBD systems, as we're starting to see all the tests, all the pilots have been trialed, they're going live, and over the next couple of years, you're going to see all of this really ramp up. But the favorite quotes from this interview, DLT XRP ledger is built with an imperfect world, 100%. All these old system and antiquated systems that don't operate together. Anything which is built on CBDC ledger can be built on XRPL and vice versa. So a lot of folks are confused about the private ledger for central banks and the XRP ledger, the public mainnet. Well, Plow built their stablecoin on the public mainnet. You can go see the transactions, folks getting 100, 200 PSC is what it's called, Plow stablecoin, and you can go watch them spending their money at the local shops on mainnet. You can watch that. But the central banks want that privacy of some of these transactions, right? And so that's going to be important. But what is being built out on the private ledger can also be, it is the same thing for the public mainnet. They're basically the same functions, the same ledgers. It's just one is private. And central banks are going to love that. Regulators tend to lag behind. Innovation is always ahead of regulation. And you bet that is absolutely what we are seeing here. And finally, the United States getting behind it. But then Uphold shared this, a report published on July 29th by Ripple in conjunction with the United States Faster Payments Council surveyed 300 financial professionals across 45 countries in multiple sectors, including fintech, banking, media, and consumer technology. Key takeaways, 97% believe that blockchain will play a crucial role in improving payment infrastructure. That's pretty dang close to consensus. More than 50% cited cost savings as the biggest benefit to blockchain technology. Blockchain implementation into cross-border payments could save approximately $10 billion by 2030. And you have to understand that's savings. So that's a savings of $10 billion. Well, we know that they're collecting, all the way from 2-3%, all the way up to 5, 10, 20% on your cross-border payments is some of the fees that are being collected. So this is 10 billion in savings. So you're talking about hundreds of billions and even trillions of dollars in payment volume coming in by 2030. This is just cost savings for cross-border payments alone. But you can read the full report here. Uphold sharing the love for the XRP community. We absolutely love to see it. And when we start to see programs and platforms like X implement cryptocurrency technologies, we're really going to be set free. Now, this is making the rounds. This was a thread here by the head of payment products at Ripple. Previously, he used to work at Amazon, by the way, Brendan Barry, from Amazon to Ripple. Interesting connection, of course. Now, he's putting this thread together about how if X wants to become, quote, the best place on the internet to earn a living, they are going to have to implement cryptocurrency technologies for payments on the back end. Now, what's interesting to note is that Elon Musk just came out and said that they are not going to be creating their own token, that they will never create their own token. So X is not looking to create their own token, but you bet your butt that they're going to be implementing DLT crypto payments into their systems. Now, they already did with the XRP tip bot, and I think that that's actually come back here recently. You guys can let me know in the comments down below. But once we start to see more and more of this, and there's going to become an inflection point where folks who don't implement this technology are going to get left behind. We haven't reached that pain point threshold, and the existing system, the incumbents, benefit from the old frictioned system where they get to benefit off of each one of those frictions and pain points by collecting their fee and getting paid out. But eventually we come to a point where they have to move. And then we come to a point here where US banks and institutions, payment providers like MoneyGram, are they going to be considering firing back up the partnerships with Ripple and utilizing XRP for ODL or for treasury flows, or just adding XRP to their balance sheet? We have to ask the question. Anders posed it here this morning. Will MoneyGram go back to Ripple? And this is important what he says right here. Their work with Stellar is front end, while ODL was back end. Treasury payments looks like there is room for both, in my opinion. And I have to agree as well. You got front end retail, small volume payments, and then you have the back end wholesale and treasury management as well. Now the news, and it's getting the round shared here, and we're talking about all the money when we talk about derivatives. You're talking values in the quadrillions. What's on record, what can be tracked right now, is about 500 trillion is what they report for the derivatives market, but it's what we call a shadow asset class, and some estimates put it well over 1.2 quadrillion, even upwards into 2-3 quadrillion plus. We really don't know. There's so many shadow derivatives, there's so many toxic derivatives as well. But Ripple has joined the ISDA, and this is a trade organization that has 1,000 plus institutions or members in 79 countries, including BlackRock, Societe Generale, directors JP Morgan, CME Group, Citi, Goldman Sachs, BNY Mellon, London Stock Exchange, and B of A, also Ripple partner. Now, I do got to give a shout out to Crypto Eddie for sharing this one originally. Is the first person that I saw on Twitter sharing it, but it is making the rounds. And folks wonder and they question, where did we get the saying all the money? Where does that come from? Well, it comes from Stefan Thomas presenting for Interledger Protocol. And he said this back in the day, quote, "With the technologies we've helped build at Ripple, XRP, and Interledger, we can process trillions of transactions per second without any central authority." So in tandem with Ripple, XRP, and Interledger, you have a combination here where they can process literally trillions of transactions per second. And then when you start to build up the liquidity, you start to build up these volumes, you start to settle trillions, but then you also have to store and place these derivatives on blockchains, on these systems denominated in some currency, and many of them have been denominated in the US dollar. But obviously, we come to a moment here where the rest of the world is seeking our alternative. They want an alternative reserve currency, but then they also want alternative settlement systems outside of the US dollar as well. So the perfect storm has arrived. We are in the middle of this storm. We are in the middle of the chaos. The FUD continues, even though we now have clarity. We no longer have to worry, and we now just need to focus and press down on the momentum that we are building in the XRP community. Don't let any of these guys who are still trying to FUD us out, who are still trying to confuse us, still sharing misinformation and disinformation, and even Hugo Filion, as we started this episode, what do you guys think about Hugo from Flare coming in with that negativity towards the XRP progress so far? And we have to recognize that, yeah, we're not where we want to be, but we have clarity, and now it's time to start building. And we would love to work with Flare as well. Flare is going to be a big part of this ecosystem, or at least so we thought. But what do you guys think of comments from Hugo? We got comments from the Twitter talking heads. You guys know it's never going to end, but what we're here to do is to cut through that confusion, cut through all the nonsense and all the narratives, and we're going to the moon tomorrow, and understanding that the reports, the white papers, the CBDC rollout, it's over the next 2 to 3 years, and we're holding some of these assets for the long term. So I'm not here for the XDC pump to 9 cents. I'm not here for XRP pump to 90 cents. I'm going to sell off and buy back in later. And most of these guys that are pretending to do that are just doing that. They're pretending. They're talking. They're trading gurus, but they ain't making any money. And they traded $100. They turned their $100 into $300. They're trading, and they're a smart kid. That's not moving the needle for anybody. And so just be aware. of everybody out there who's trying to use the XRP community. Let's stay strong. We are a family. And if you're looking to join us in our private community, that would be our Discord group, and you can do so by heading over to my website, zachrector.com. With that being said, we also got a new weekly special that we've been rolling over with our partner, Miles Franklin. And then we can help you roll over your 401k retirement account as well. So if you're looking to get precious metals, head on over to my website as well. Appreciate all of you guys. Hope you have a blessed weekend, and I will see you in the next one on the way out. Can we please smash it? Thank you.